All right. Well, this is Alfred. We are giving Matt and David a couple of weeks to kind of recharge their batteries as they do tons of work behind the scenes for the official, bringing me stats, bringing me clips, and running a lot of our models you can find on campus2campus.com, including the STAR Index. But I am here today to chat with you about quarterbacks for the 2026 class. If you didn't check it out before, please go back, look at the 2026 1 through 5 quarterbacks that was done last week. You can find it on the YouTube channel. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this one as well, this video, which is going to look at QBs 6 to 10. And there are a few interesting names as we go through it here. Let's get started with Jonas Williams, who is an Oregon commit. He was a freshman back in the day with 37 total TDs as a true freshman, and then backed it up with 3,100 passing yards and 33 touchdowns as a sophomore. Now, he's definitely a mobile guy, but he's going to throw first, as you can tell with those pretty eye-popping high school level. That's a lot. Anytime you can get over 3,000 passes in a season. But he can get done with his legs as well. Now, I think I see a guy who looks good in a lot of areas when I look at Jonas. And he's going to an excellent offensive environment. Oregon has now produced for many years in a row. So I think they just reload. And he'll have DeCorian Moore, at least probably for 1 year when he gets over to Eugene. But I will say, like, no attribute for Jonas Williams really stood out to me to be like some elite player. I think he's good. I think he certainly has starting potential at the collegiate level, but I think he's just like good at a lot of things, including running. So we like that. I mean, I certainly am interested in this guy as a prospect, but doesn't come across me as an elite player, as a true difference maker for multiple years on the college fantasy side. Probably has enough juice to have NFL potential, but I think the rushing probably isn't like 600 to 800 yards type of guy. I think he'll be a pass first guy who can do things with his legs. And, I like him at Oregon, though, so certainly not dumping on him. I think that he should at least probably be QB5. I think Brady Smigiel, which we looked at last week, probably is less enticing than Jonas Williams. So I do like him at least better than the number 5 consensus QB right now per the services. And then moving on to Jaden O'Neal. This is a guy who's got a big arm. He's been really lighting it up. And in 2024 has taken the game to a bit of a new level. So he now has 55 of 79 for 10 yards. That's good for 10 yards per attempt. 7 touchdowns, 1 pick, which is a really nice junior season he's got going on right now, compared to a more inefficient and 10 interceptions that he threw as a sophomore, which, of course, we got to give these guys room to grow. So I don't think he write him off after that sophomore year, and certainly has shown the capacity to grow and develop and refine his game. Looking great now as a junior, and he'll get another year to put some more numbers up. Again, I don't think he's a difference on the ground. Definitely going to be a throw first guy with a very big arm and the ability to deliver the ball to really anywhere on the field, challenge defenses left to right, north to south. However, and pick up some rushing yards when he can. I think probably looks to me like maybe 200 to 300 type on the ground. Certainly capable. Looks not incredibly comfortable, slightly clunky. Although once he gets going in the open field, certainly has some giddy up to him with the 6'3", 200-pound frame. And currently, I didn't mention this at the top, Jaden O'Neal is currently committed to Oklahoma. Now we'll move on to Brady Hart out of the state of Florida, but committed to Michigan. He is 6'5", 185, and as a sophomore, really lit it up, 65.9% completion, 3,700 yards, 41 touchdowns for, I think, Coco down in Florida. But 11 picks, which we don't love. Again, that's sophomore numbers, though. So, I mean, I'm not going to try to get off of throwing 11 picks as a sophomore. He obviously is throwing it all around the field. I would like to see some more efficiency. 437 attempts equated to 3,759 yards. So, pretty decently under yards per attempt. tremendous volume, a lot of production as a sophomore. So happy to see him continue to grow. I don't have his junior numbers just yet. Max Preps is going through a little bit of, I don't know if it's an update or what. Some of their stats are not currently available. So didn't have junior season stats for Brady Hart. He's 6'5", 185. But the thing that's confusing to me is he's committed to Michigan. He's obviously a high volume passer for a very pass happy offense down in Florida. Like Michigan, he's not going to throw 437 attempts in like 2 years at Michigan, much less his sophomore year in high school. He's going to, Michigan, we know, limits their passing game on purpose. They had a first round QB in JJ McCarthy and still barely let him, let loose. It seems like a weird scheme fit, I would say. To me, he's definitely throwing it all over the place in high school. He's got the ability to be a high volume passer, and yet, for fantasy, I'm just not really going to get that excited about anyone going to Michigan unless they have a major personnel change at the from the play calling and really coaching staff. So Brady Hart, interesting guy, pass first guy, not really going to do a ton on the ground. But then the landing spot, just, I don't know. I think he's probably better than Jaden Davis, who is at Michigan and really fell off my radar. But by the time he gets there, who knows what the depth chart will look like. I'm not terribly excited, but certainly a guy with a live arm and can deliver the ball in a lot of, different ways. Okay. Moving to Troy Hunn, who is 6'4", 205 pounds, and currently committed to Penn State out of California. So interesting for Penn State to go grab him out of Mission Hills out in California. But this guy is your prototypical old school pocket passer. So I'm not going to love him for fantasy purposes. That's just what it is. But I will say he's stringy and twitchy, even though he's not going to be a runner for you. He's a pocket passer, big, tall, lanky guy, but man, he throws seeds. He can really deliver the ball. Probably one of the stronger arms in this class, although we don't have ball on the 2026 class just yet. This is just a sneak peek. But I will say, he's up on his toes, even when he's in the pocket. He looks at the ability to make quick decisions with his arm and his head, and so as far as a pocket passer goes, he's a guy that I could get on board with. At Penn State, I don't know. We've seen they just limit their offense and their passers. I mean, similar to Michigan type football. Drew Aller coming along finally as a junior here, but still not a tremendous fantasy starter is Drew Aller. So from a fantasy angle, not sure I love the landing spot. Not sure I love the fact he's not going to contribute on the ground very much. However, I will say, if you like pocket passers, I mean, he's definitely a good one with a big arm, and seems to show. And that was sophomore tape, actually, because a lot of these guys haven't put out their junior season yet. But he certainly can deliver the football in a lot of ways. He looks pretty good on placement as well, and that was as a sophomore. So, I think his arm is going to get even stronger. Like, he's what you want if that's the archetype you're looking for sure. And then we get to the currently consensus industry number 10, 6'1", 200-pound Helaman Casuga, currently committed to TAMU. And, this is just right up my alley. This is the kind of guy I'm looking to roster in fantasy. So really, probably my favorite of the 5 quarterbacks. He's definitely, I think, the smallest of this group at 6 foot, 200 pounds, and doesn't even necessarily look that big tape. But, man, he's a jitterbug back there. He's going to deliver the ball with accuracy. Got enough zip, I believe. It looks good enough. Not going to be per hour, but probably in the 54, 56 range. And he's got moxie. I love him back there in the pocket. And then when he takes off the run, he's going to contribute. I think he's got enough juice to legitimate run at college level, but in high school he hasn't really been asked to do that much. Corner Canyon loves to throw it all around, which he's from Corner Canyon, which has now produced Isaac Wilson, I believe Zach Wilson, and I know there was another QB out there putting up, I believe, Jackson Dart from Corner Canyon. So tons of QBs are coming out of Corner Canyon. And so you like to see him continuing that legacy, Casuga, but just kind of the fancy type guy I'm looking to roster, even though, he's not necessarily the biggest or the strongest or, he's the 10th QB in the class, but I would have him in my top 5 just from a fantasy lens because I do think he's got the skill set I'm looking for on the ground, enough in the air, and can distribute and just rack up tons of points in multiple ways for Casuga out in Corner Canyon. That'll do it for the quarterback portion of the show. Look for later in the week. We're going to do running backs and receivers, number 6 through 10, and some interesting names along the way. Thanks. This has been The Official.